Now that completes the front of the plane, the very front of the plane, the two families of three. Now we can move to the two wings. So the first of those is this character here, and this is known as the letter dal, dal. And this is a simple stroke like this, and the dal is one of those stubborn letters that we mentioned. And the stubborn letters are those that do not join with anything that comes after it. So the dal will only ever be seen in these two ways. Next we have the partner of dal, which is dhal, dhal, and it's just simply the addition of a dot on the main structure. And just like dal, dhal is one of those stubborn letters, so it will only appear either like this at the top or like this at the bottom when it is in the beginning, middle, or even final parts of a word. Moving on, we now come to the letter ra, which is a simple stroke like this, a curved stroke like this. And ra is yet another stubborn letter. It will not join to anything which comes after it, and so we will only see it in these two forms, whether at the beginning, middle, or end of a word. And the partner of ra is za or zai, and this is simply a ra with a dot on the top, and this is also one of those stubborn letters, will not join to anything which comes after it, and so we will only see it in these forms, whether at the beginning, middle, or end of a word. Moving on, we come to the letter sin, and this is one of those very popular letters in the sense that it occurs very frequently in the Arabic language, and you can see that there's two dips at the beginning followed by a large round semicircle like this. And when it occurs at the beginning, then we only have the initial part of the letter, so the rest of it is actually dropped. And again at the beginning, and then when it occurs in the middle, so this part is from the letter before it, and then we see the two characteristic dips or half circles, whatever you want to call them, and then to the next letter again, and then the characteristic feature of this letter, the two dips, and then join to the next letter. And then finally at the end, this comes from the preceding letter, and then the round circle at the end. Then we have the partner of sin, which is sheen. So again, we see the main body of the letter, and on top we have three dots. In certain styles of script, we can also represent these dots like this, like a small pyramid, and you will find that in written form in people's handwriting styles. Now at the beginning of a word, we see that the second half of the shape is removed, so again, and then in the middle of a word like this, we see this part is from the letter that comes before it, and then this joins to the letter which comes after, and the three dots, and once more do it like this, and then finally at the end the sheen takes back its original form with the three dots at the top. Next we have the letter sad, and this resembles the previous two, except that the beginning part of the letter has a type of a loop like this. Okay, so you can see how it's written like that, and then at the beginning we see that it drops the second half of its body, and so essentially let's just say that the head of it remains, this part here, and again at the beginning it's like this, and then in the middle of a word like that, and once more like that, and then at the end like that. And then we have the partner of Sad, which is Dad. And so this takes the same main body shape with a dot at the top to distinguish it from the Sad. And then at the beginning of a word like this, Dad, and once more. Then in the middle we have the connector from before, and then like this. Once more. And then finally at the end we see that the original form appears again and the dot at the top. Next we have the letter Ta, Ta, and this is one of those letters which retains its shape no matter where it appears. So you can see a downward stroke and then a loop like this beneath and back again. So at the beginning it's like that, once more at the beginning like this, then in the middle the connector from the previous letter, and then like that again in the middle of a word like this, and finally at the end it is like this. And then we have the partner of Ta, which is Dha. So exactly the same, and the dot is what distinguishes it from its partner. Once more, the vertical line and then the loop. And at the beginning of a word, Dha, and then at the beginning again. In the middle, connector from the previous letter. And once more. And then finally, at the end of a word, next we come to the final pair. This is the Ain. Ain. This is a very throaty letter. It's one of those unique characters, special characters in Arabic. Ain. This is how it appears at the beginning of a word. You see it loses its main body. Now in the middle of a word it takes on a slightly different form, like this. And then at the end of a word it is like that. And then we have the partner of Ain, which is Ghain. Ghain. And so we only have the addition of a dot, and everything else is the same. So at the beginning, Ghain, in the middle, and then at the end.